Good Yontif. This has been a year of lost and found. We've lost lives. More than 900,000 around the world, with 200,000 of them in the United States alone, including many older adults, as well as so many among the minority communities so disproportionately affected. Among our own synagogue family, too, we've lost parents, spouses, adult children, and friends, some to the virus directly, others to the virus's myriad secondary effects. We've lost health. We've lost jobs. We've lost the convenience of eating meals out, and we've lost the comfort of mindlessly browsing the aisles of the grocery store. We've lost companionship. We've lost the strength of community and not being able to come together in person for prayer. Some days it feels like we've lost our minds. Maybe that's just me. We've lost hugs. Some of us have lost the experience of holding a grandchild or a great-grandchild. We've lost the embrace of friends at a funeral, and we've lost the horror at weddings. We've lost the ease of vacation travel. Most recently, we even lost a Jewish Supreme Court justice. Our children lost summer camp. We parents lost our children going to summer camp. In fact, parents of school-age children have lost time, energy, income, freedom, hair. My God, in the span of 6 months, we've all lost so much. This has been a year of loss, but we've found so much too. There's a story of a Jew who lived in a Jewish village on the outskirts of Austria. One night, this Jew, Menachem, saw in his dream that under a bridge in the city of Vienna, a valuable treasure lay buried. Menachem journeyed there and found the bridge, but was unsure what to do next. Eventually, a soldier crossed the bridge, saw the Jew standing there, and asked him, "What are you doing here, and what are you looking for?" Menachem thought about it and decided to reveal his secret to the soldier. But the soldier replied, "I also dreamed of a valuable treasure. Only in my dream, the treasure rests inside the oven of a Jew named Menachem, who lives in a Jewish village on the outskirts of Austria. In my dream," the soldier continued, "this man Menachem opens and closes his oven every day, but each time fails to see the treasure hidden before his very eyes." Upon hearing the soldier's dream, Menachem politely excused himself, mounted his horse, returned to his home, opened his oven, and discovered the treasure. At the sight of it, Menachem declared, "Now this mystery has been revealed to me. The treasure has always been right before my very eyes, but I had to wander far away in order to discover what was in my house all along." In this year of lost and found, we too have found treasure hidden before our very eyes. We've found that joy is sitting down to a family meal. We've found that satisfaction is going to bed at night healthy. We've found that pride is knowing that you've made an impact on someone's life. We've found that strength is admitting your imperfections and summoning the will to change. We've found that acceptance is living life, even though we've entered a category called vulnerable. We've found that hope is waking up in the morning ready for a new day. We've found that a hero can be a doctor, a nurse, a soldier, a fireman, or a policewoman. Anyone willing to put their own life on the line and to rush toward the suffering rather than away from it. And this includes as well the many people who perform tasks that enable our society to function. The janitors and maintenance staff in the hospitals, for example, along with workers in drugstores and supermarkets, postal workers and delivery truck drivers. On behalf of the congregation, I want to say thank you to all our healthcare professionals, essential workers, and first responders for what you have done and continue to do during these difficult times. In these last many months, we've found hidden treasure, and we've found silver linings too. So many silver linings. In the early stages of the shutdown, we found a quiet that brought comfort and air that we could breathe. We found the bliss of walks in the woods and the joy of bike rides through the neighborhood. We found neighbors. We found time to work out or to garden. We found baking and puzzles and board games. We found the opportunity to clean and organize closets. Lots of cleaning and organizing. We found that online prayer can unite family and friends in ways we could never imagine, including across multiple time zones and different continents. We found meaningful time with loved ones, spouses, parents, children, and for some, children who've long since grown up and moved away came back home, perhaps with a spouse and children of their own. Indeed, we've all found that hugging spouses and partners, parents and children, grandparents and grandchildren, is a gift from God, never to be taken for granted. And for those of us with children at home, we've found opportunity for even deeper interactions. In late April, Rebecca and I sat our son Caleb down to let him know that officially his bar mitzvah would be entirely on Zoom. Caleb paused, took a deep breath, and replied, "I don't need a big celebration or a full sanctuary. Can my grandparents be there? Can Zadie?" Then Caleb added, "I just want my family around me. That's what's most important." In this unique season of lost and found, I found that my little boy, my firstborn, has truly become a man. And with gratitude to God and to the Shaarey Zedek community, my family of 4, along with 4 grandparents, and Caleb's 100-year-old Holocaust survivor great-grandfather, gathered on this bima, in this main sanctuary, and with incredible fervor prayed the words of the Shechianu, "Thank you, God, for giving us life, for sustaining us, and for allowing us to reach this sacred moment in time." Friends, there's been so much lost and yet so much found. Like Menachem in Austria, we found treasures hidden around us that we simply had ignored or taken for granted. We've also found that life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. How true is that? Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. It seems to me, too, that the experience of lost and found is not limited to global pandemics, that life is an ongoing exercise in lost and found. After all, we spend much of our younger years finding knowledge, but in the process we lose our innocence. We spend our middle years sometimes finding success, but losing the freedom of youth. And we spend our later years finding wisdom, but sometimes losing our health. When we're young, we set out to find our dreams, but sometimes along the way, we lose our faith in others. As we grow older, we often find faith in God, but sometimes lose track of our dreams. When we're young, we often find incredible self-confidence. Often that confidence is then lost, but along the way, we find the blessing of humility. When we're young, we often find friends and lose our family. And as we grow older, we often find family, but lose our friends. The path of aging is filled with profound loss and momentous finds. After a long day at the zoo, a mother and a young son came home, and before dinner could be made, the mother placed 2 apples on the table, one for her and one for her child. The next thing the mother knew, the lovely little boy was holding 2 apples with both his hands. The mother, with as much gentleness as a hungry mom can summon, asked her little boy with a smile, "My sweetie, Mommy is very hungry. Could you give Mommy one of your 2 apples?" The boy looked up at his mom. Then he suddenly took a quick bite of one apple and then quickly a bite of the other apple. They sat there for a moment, and the mom tried hard not to reveal her anger. Then the little boy handed one of his bitten apples to his mom and said, "Here you go, Mommy. This one is the sweeter one. It's for you." With silver linings and secret treasure, life is a journey in lost and found. Our Torah, too, speaks of notions of lost and found. In the book of Deuteronomy, Moses tells us that when we come upon something that another has lost, we must actively seek to return the lost item. According to Jewish law, in a society built on justice, there is no such thing as finders, keepers, losers, weepers. Every object has an owner. Every piece of land has its keeper. And should we come across that which is lost, we have an obligation to sustain the cosmic order by returning that which is lost to its rightful owner. To this notion, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our teacher, adds one more verse to further clarify the society God expects us to build. If you come across something that someone has lost, Moses tells us, "Lo tuchal lehitalem." You must not remain indifferent. If, for example, you discover a neighbor's ox or a sheep, or in today's society, someone's purse or cell phone. You cannot walk by the object and pretend you didn't see it. Though you might be busy or tired or not interested in putting forth the effort to return the item, lo tuchal lehitalem, you must not remain indifferent. It's a concept, too, that has evolved into a general Jewish principle, which perhaps defines the very essence of Judaism's take on an individual's responsibility toward others. Lo tuchal lehitalem, you must not remain indifferent. The losses experienced in this global pandemic are not unique to Jews. The discovery of silver linings is not unique to Jews either. What is unique to us as Jews, however, the role that we can play in this crisis affecting the world, is to help those who've lost something to find it again, to aid those who feel as if a piece of them has gone missing, to fill that void, to bring healing to those who have lost that which can never be replaced. In a just and compassionate society, what is lost and then found is returned to its original owner. However, in a community built on righteousness, in addition to justice and compassion, in a Jewish community of tzaddikim, we don't wait until we find that which another has lost. Rather, as we read in Psalms, tzaddik chonen v'noten, a tzaddik, a righteous person, acts graciously and gives freely of themselves to those who are in need of kindness. When we visit a house of mourning, we are tzaddikim. When we attend to the sick or the lonely, we are tzaddikim. When we bring laughter and light to those who are down or in darkness, we are tzaddikim. When we listen, truly listen to someone who needs to speak, and when we simply sit with someone who needs silence, we are tzaddikim. When we act in this way, we will return lost smiles, lost sustenance, lost support. When we care for others in this way, we will have returned lost health, lost happiness, and lost hope. Though the global pandemic has caused us to shrink the world in which we live, still the laws of the Torah remain binding. Lo tuchal lehitalem, you must not remain indifferent. Tzaddik chonen v'noten, a tzaddik acts graciously and gives freely of themselves. In so doing, by the way, we ourselves might find what we are missing too. I'm reminded of the story from a century ago of the renowned writer Franz Kafka. One day he was strolling through a park when he chanced upon a young girl crying because she'd lost her favorite doll. The young girl was beside herself with sadness, so Kafka offered to help look for the doll. She and the author looked and looked, but without success. Lovingly, Kafka invited the young girl to meet him there the next day, and they would look again. After unsuccessfully searching, Kafka pulled out a sheet of paper and gave the girl a letter that he explained had been written by the doll. The letter read, "Please do not cry. I've gone on a trip to see the world. I'm going to write to you about my adventures." Thus began a story that continued for many months until the end of Kafka's life less than a year later. Each time they met, Kafka read aloud his carefully composed letters of adventures experienced and life lessons learned by the beloved doll, which the girl found enchanting. Finally, Kafka read her a letter of the story that brought the doll back to Berlin, and he then gave her a doll that he had recently purchased. Looking up and down at the doll that lay before her, the young girl lamented, "This does not look at all like my doll." And that was when Kafka handed her another letter from the doll that explained, "My trips, they have changed me." The girl hugged the new doll and took it home with her. A year after first meeting the little girl, Kafka died. Many years after that, the girl, now a grown-up young woman, found a letter tucked into an unnoticed crevice in the doll. The tiny letter, signed by Kafka, said, "Everything you love is very likely to be lost, but in the end, love will return in a different way." Lo tuchal lehitalem, our Torah instructs us. You must not remain indifferent. Tzaddik chonen v'noten, a righteous person acts graciously and gives freely. Though at some point in time, everything we love is very likely to be lost, when as a family and as a community, we offer each other kindness, then we can be sure that in the end, love will return, even if it's in a different way. There is lost and there's found, and we're obligated to help each other. At this Yizkor hour, we are mindful of the incredible loss around us and the losses we've experienced over the years, too. Yet we're immensely grateful for all that we have found, the memories and the love, the treasures long hidden in our own homes, and the silver linings that appear daily when our eyes are truly open. There is lost and there is found, and our role is to seek the joy, to discover the treasure, to find the silver linings, and to help others find theirs as well. After all, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. May this be our will. And let us say together, Amen.